kind of like sweeping and clearing, kind of thinking about pulling energy in and moving energy out, expansion, kind of like a bellows. I'm breathing in deep. Move in different directions, thinking just about creating a little bit of space. Just inviting more energy into our system, getting the blood flowing. Thinking about being connected to the earth, feeling the soles of our feet. Thinking about kind of this belly area where we hold so much of our interior emotion, interior world, which is what we're going to be diving into today. So let's just kind of activate this space, creating a little bit of movement in here. So this whole process is not about beauty. It really is about just process. It's going to be a lot of layers. It's going to be really, it can be fast at times and loose. And you're going to just keep going. The point with this process is to not to stop. So you're kind of just letting things bubble, bubble, bubble. And if you do find yourself get stuck, just scribble. Make circles, doodle. The thing is, you want to just keep it moving. And you will get stuck at some point. And that inner critic might start talking to you. So when that happens, acknowledge the critic, hear what the critic is saying, and then ask to talk to the muse. So just switch and say, I hear you. I hear that voice. I acknowledge that voice. I want to switch back into the creative muse. That's who I want to be talking to. So that moment will come up for you. And somebody else here. So when that comes up, just keep going. And it's good to acknowledge those times when that critic does come up and to look around, okay, what was happening right here? What was I feeling? Where was I feeling it in my body? What was going on? And then as that critic is acknowledged and you kind of try and shift into the muse, how does that feel? So there's going to just be layers of process here happening today. It's all going to be guided. The point is to be gentle with yourself, to keep going, and to have a little bit of fun. So that's the movement, I think, helps us to realize we're here to just explore in an easy, gentle, open way and curiosity. All right. So, got things moving around here. Let's just do a little bit of tapping. People keep coming. We're going to tap on our cheekbones. Taking a deep breath, ground into the floor. This helps to bring our energy down. Calming. I know I need to calm down. I'm a little nervous today, so I need to calm down. Take a deep breath. Okay, we're going to move to our chest. So anybody who's into the energy medicine, the K27, right under the collarbone, you'll fall into that little divot. Just going to tap into that. Breathe into that spot. Keep moving to the music. You can move however, I'm kind of rocking, but if you like circles or figure eights, just kind of listen to how your body wants to move, how it feels good. Again, we're starting to tune inward, starting to listen to that interior wisdom. We're starting to ask our bodies to have a conversation with us. So our intention is with the conversation. And then just along the breastbone, calming the heart. Deep breath in, feeling that breath move into the earth. we're just going to kind of sweep the energy down off of our arms. Just kind of waking stuff up. It might feel better to kind of give a little knock here, just to wake up the system. I do like to do this in the morning. It's, I don't know, I think it was a Qigong kind of thing they did, and I really loved it. Just how it wakes up the body. You can kind of gently tap on the kidneys and the back. Deep breath in, we're getting all the fluid systems moving in the body. While we're here, we're just going to scoop around from the back to the front. Here we're just kind of getting energies crossing over. We're asking our chakras to start talking to each other. Again, we're working in the belly area to activate it. That's where we're going to be digging in today a little bit. So you scoop around and then just come down off of that opposite leg, right down off of the feet, and shake it off. We're going to do that 3 times on each side. So scooping around to the opposite hip and down off the leg. And again, you're taking care of yourself, so listen to your body. If it doesn't feel good to stand up, if it doesn't feel good to bend over, then use your intention and just scoop it down. Okay? So listen to what your body needs. Now we're going to do the other side. Scooping. Deep breath, down off that opposite leg. So we're starting to feel our body be a little bit more alive and yet a little bit more calm at the same time. Which is exactly where we want to be. Okay. Now the same thing we did with the arms, we're going to do right down the legs. So right on the outside, the inside of the hips, but on the outside of the leg. Just right down, all the way down. If you're sitting, you can just go down your thighs, reach as far as you can, and then down your legs, off of your feet. Okay, shaking off our hands. Okay, deep breath, rubbing our hands together. So let's play with energy a little bit. So we are molecules in motion. We're all energy. Our molecules, our atoms, our cells, everything is moving all the time. So the more we can tune into that energetic system, the more movement and expansion we can create in our lives, in our emotions, in our physical body. So people feel this in different ways. You're thinking about hands as kind of electromagnetic tools. They're activated. You might feel heat. You might feel a ball of energy. You might feel tingling. You might use your intention and just play with being really close, how that feels. You might just feel resistance and then being far away. So once you gather this energy, I'm just going to have you take a deep breath into the hands. Deep breath into this energy. And one hand is going to reach for the sky, and one hand is going to reach for the earth, and you're just stretching that field that you've created out into your aura, and you're connecting the heaven and the earth. So take a deep breath in, and then stretch. Looking up towards that upper hand, and breathing back into the chest. And then breathing out on the other side. And we're just going to take that out, the outer edges, and swooping it back. be nice to cross your hands over and really kind of just hugging and then swooping out. Just touching your skin really gently really activates the aura, the connection to the aura, to the physical body. You might feel a tingling with this. Listen to your shoulders. If it gets to be too much, then just modify to an area that feels good to you. Again, swooping and expanding. Listen to your body where you need the movement. Just follow your intuition, that inner voice we're tuning into. And don't forget behind you. So let's just come to the heart for just a few minutes, not a few minutes, a minute. Crossing our thumbs, tucking it right into the notch of the neck, just spreading our hands, sinking into our breath, sinking into our feet, the connection to the earth, feeling that communication with the earth's energy that grounds us and supports us and nourishes us. And let's have the intention of grounding our heart. Our heart feels supported, it feels nourished, feels calm. I was going to pick a card, and I love Carolyn Myss. She's one of my favorites. She's written Anatomy of a Spirit, so many other things. She is just, I think, so talented. So in picking a card for today, I read her introduction to this deck, and it's just seemed perfect. So I'm going to read this first. Healing is more than confronting the challenge of an illness. The wise approach is to realize that it's a lifestyle requiring constant attention to the well-being of your mind, body, and spirit. Of all the many factors that healing and living a healthy life require, becoming an empowered individual is the most important. That's also the most difficult. Illness often forces you to begin the journey of personal empowerment, as do loss, loneliness, and other life crises. It's very difficult to know where and how to begin that quest, which is why I created these cards. Personal empowerment begins with small choices that set enormous changes in motion. This happens because of what each small choice symbolizes at the level of personal power. To change one small habit, for example, is to bring an entirely different flow of energy and thus power into your life. That energy, in turn, adds to the quality of thoughts and inspiration in your mind, body, and spirit, allowing for a different current of ideas and creativity. One positive action can create an entirely new life. So I am in complete agreement with that. Part of self-care is looking at those micro choices that we make each day. And if we can become more and more aware, bring it down more and more into simple micro little choices, then the big choices take care of themselves because it has this foundation of a daily practice. So we are going to, I'm just going to read a little quick something about creativity. And this is a great little journaling. Flora Bowley is her name. It's just a kind of journaling book, but I love it. The pictures are great. So there are no mistakes. So that's the big message today, no mistakes. Often the fear of not knowing what to do or the fear of doing something wrong stops us in our tracks and keeps us from starting. If we can let go of this fear, we open ourselves up to a much larger world of expression, a world where anything is possible. I strongly believe that there are no mistakes in the creative process. Everything that happens along the way, every dab of paint, every emotion that rises, every brave new choice is an important ingredient in the final offering. Working from this perspective leaves no room for fear to slip in. There is no wrong way. There are no mistakes. There is only a wide open canvas beckoning your artistic muse to come out and play. So that's what we're doing, beckoning our creative muse to come out and play. Okay, so to begin, if everybody has a pencil or something more on the lightest side, not a marker, like something more light, we're going to put it in your non-dominant hand. And we're just going to take a few minutes and just start making marks on your paper. And what we're doing is we're just kind of opening up the brain a little bit. So just kind of go into the flow, doodle, just make marks on the paper. Maybe you want to put your other hand on your heart. Letting go of our thoughts, of our judgments. Just following how your body wants to move. And sometimes moving your whole body, it's not even just your hand. You're just kind of letting your whole body move on the page. I love doing this with huge pieces of paper on the wall. So much fun. Deep breath. So if you were here last night, now would be a time to kind of start thinking about the intention you set for yourself for the weekend. Just to start infusing what you're going to do today to build on that intention. When you feel complete, just let your pencil down. Take a deep breath. Okay. At this point, we're going to pick a different tool, maybe just like a regular writing pen, not moving into the darker utensils yet, just something light. So I'm going to use a marker because I didn't bring one. I'm going to use a really light color. I'm going to use yellow. So that, I guess that would work too. Just something light. So you're going to go on top of this, okay? So here you're just going to start writing in big, again, this is all big, loose, cursive writing. You don't even have to read it. This is not nitty-gritty work. This is like expansive. So I want you just starting to write about today, writing about your week, just kind of emptying it onto the page. And just start, oh, this week, this happened, this week I felt, today I'm feeling, I'm here anyway. Just let your brain go and start writing big and loose. It does not have to be legible. I'm going to recommend that you keep turning your page because this gives you different perspective and your brain will go in a different direction. So I'm going to be quiet and let you kind of dive into this. If you get stuck, start doodling or making circles. Just keep going. we'll give this like 3 more minutes. If you're already done, what you might do is write your intention around the paper, around the perimeter of the paper. Your intention for yourself for this weekend. You could just keep writing it, kind of encapsulating, encompassing, and folding your work today. And again, that does not have to be legible. It's just about kind of getting it out there. Okay, our next step, as you're kind of finishing up with this step, we want to cover this over to start with kind of a blank slate. So if you have crayons or watercolors, if you have paint, you can use paint. I would just suggest making it very thin so it dries fast, like a really dry coat of paint. I'm thinking even if you just have pens on hand, picking a really light color. So it depends on what mediums you have right now. Even like a kid's crayon box might work. So I'm going to use watercolors. Just a really kid's watercolor toolbox here. Because the idea is you just want to, you're letting go what you've just kind of put on the paper and you're starting fresh. So just taking a brush that kind of calls to you, a biggish brush, take a big brush. And a lot of this is about color and vibration. So thinking about what color is pulled to you. Don't overthink it, just go right to the color that is drawing you. And then just dive in. So again, loose and flowing, not thinking, just kind of diving into the process of putting color on the paper. Sometimes that's the hardest place to start, is just to put color down. You can play around, maybe dots and circles or squares or shapes. If you're using paint and you want to use your fingers, you can use your fingers. Not overthinking it. We're not trying to make anything pretty. This is just process. Being gentle, that if that critic or judge comes into play, we acknowledge the voice and ask to talk to the muse. And be about being playful. Like thinking about kids in your life. What do they do? Let's do what they do. So just adding color. You don't have to stick with one color. If you have different markers, different crayons, different paints, just keep adding texture and color. Not thinking too much. Again, keeping it light, so because you're going to keep writing on top of this. And I love art journaling because you might end up with like 10 or 11 layers underneath something. And what you're doing is you're talking to the interior world and you're just revealing the different layers of what's happening inside. Now, if you end up getting into art journaling, you really like the process, something to invest in is gesso, which is just this kind of white, it's like a paint material, but what it does is it dries pretty fast and then it creates a new painting surface for you. So You always have something fresh to start with. You know, it's easy to add a lot of texture with it too. Okay. Just a couple more minutes. Just keep playing, adding color. It's not about how it looks, about vibration, about texture, about letting go, starting fresh. Fine. You might want to switch mediums. Like if you're feeling moved to, like, I don't know, make an outline in a marker, go ahead. Make circles, make shapes. Just follow what you want to do. You can also, if you have a paintbrush, you can use the back side of it, you know, if you wanted to add color or just kind of. I also tend to collect materials from around the house, like bubble wrap, to add texture, or cut up like kitchen mat, you know, packaging, anything that I think is cool, I collect. I've stopped doing that though. I have a pretty big collection, so I've said enough right now. Everything is useful to an artist. We're creative. Now just take a moment to tune in. Maybe how are you feeling inside? Just take a moment, close your eyes. Just this little bit. How does this feel inside? And it could be a whole range of how feeling, you know, any feelings. And to address, just acknowledge the feeling and keep asking to talk to the muse and asking in curiosity to bring out the playful spirit of the muse, of the inspiration. And deep breaths. Okay. So when you're ready, just kind of maybe a couple more minutes in this layer. Okay, more and more people are finishing. So what we're going to do next is you can choose a marker, something darker, something you can see through or like is opaque. Pick a color that kind of calls to you. Now it could be like something dark, I don't know, I have like charcoal, it can be whatever you have on hand. It could be a really dark pencil. If you only have pens, just make a few lines to make it darker. So we're just going to draw a circle on the paper, a big circle. Try and cover as much as the paper as you can cover. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle, just make a circle. So we've gone through letting go of our week. We've created a new surface, starting fresh. Now with the circle, we're asking to dive into our inner world. So that outer world is on the outside, the inner world is on the inside. And see how if you can feel how just making that circle has given you a focus point and has brought you a little bit deeper into your interior. So in a different color, again, maybe a little bit darker, maybe like a medium shade. I want you to just draw the shape of your body. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be, you know, just You just want all the parts in there. So head, arms, hands, feet, legs. I'm going to switch from a marker. I have some oil pastel, so I'm going to switch into that. So again, use what kind of calls to you, whatever you have on hand. If you like this process, you can just get everything at the dollar store. All the kids' supplies are terrific. Make sure you get all your parts in here. Our page should be a little dry, so when you're done, just kind of dry your page a little bit if it's wet. So once you have that done, we're going to go back to writing again. And we're just going to stay within the circle at this point. Our canvas is now within the circle. So we're now inside our bodies. And the question, because the weekend is about self-care, is going to be what keeps me from taking care of myself? And what you're going to do is just start this conversation and just let it keep coming. You can just keep asking the questions. So what keeps me from taking care? I'm using a pencil. You can use whatever you like. Keeps me from taking care of myself. Again, loosey-goosey. You don't have to read it. It's more about just moving. What would it feel like if self-care was a priority? How would it feel inside? What would my world look like? So just let the conversation keep manifesting as you're writing. Maybe I feel in this situation, when I take care of myself, I feel, what do you feel? Keep writing, don't stop. If you get stuck, just kind of doodle, circles, just keep the pen moving. Maybe there's a question you're stuck on, so just keep writing it over and over. Turn the page, different perspective. Maybe write about in certain situations, I feel like I let go of my self-care in these situations. What situations do I let self-care go? When is it easiest to take care of myself? What does that self-care look like? Again, if you get stuck, keep moving, just keep going. If that inner critic comes up, just acknowledge her, listen to the voice, and ask to talk to the muse. What does it feel like when you're not taking care, or when the choices are not in your best interest? Turn the page. You might like get an aha every once in a while, and that's when I would write in your writing journal like, oh, that's a good one. Turn the page. Maybe a good question would be, how do I feel when I ask for help? Is it easy for me to ask for help? And then how does that feel? Okay, our next step is going to be to take another color, probably something overall this, probably markerish, something heavier, could be oil pastel if you have that, but something again that's going to go smoothly on the paper. I think I will switch to oil pastel. So this next step is going to be writing a prayer to yourself. So you're asking this, what you've done here, for information and moving forward. So please show me, please tell me, please instruct me, inform me, guide me, calm me, empower me. And just pay attention to the words that come up for you. So you're just asking for help right now at this point. Start writing a prayer for yourself on top of this process. If you have questions, feel free to unmute. Not about prettiness. Don't worry about the color choices. Big cursive writing. Don't get bogged down in little writing. Alright, at this point, some people may want to stay right here in the prayer part for a little bit, and some people might be ready to move on. So I'm just going to explain what the next step is. And it's pretty free form. So you're going to outline your body again, and then you're just going to start layering it with color, with paint. If you've pulled out some magazine images that you want to glue on, it's just starting to layer now, staying on the inside of your circle, on the inside, and you're just kind of letting your brain go, and you're just kind of finding images that you like. If you want to go grab a magazine and a glue stick, then go do that. And you're just kind of working with your body. So you're inside the circle, you're inside your body, so there's an inside and an outside to your body. You're working with the prayer, and the question would be, how does it feel to transform into self-care? And just using images for that. Seeing what comes up. You might hit a little roadblock, so work with the critic and move back into the transformation. Our goal here at the end of this process is to have an action step at the end. So you're working with your interior world to find what creates transformation and self-care for you. How does it feel? How does it look? What's the vibration? What are the words that come up? Where do you feel it in your body? So to begin with, you might start in your body as you've outlined it again. Maybe making a mark first of where it feels, where do you feel it in your body when you're not taking care of yourself? And then how might your body feel if you were taking care of yourself? So I'm going to be quiet. Right now this is kind of free form and you're just kind of following with materials that you have to work with transformation and color. Finding that action step for the end. Feel free to ask any questions. Don't overthink too much, just kind of go with the colors, with the feelings. Not about prettiness. If you cover up your body, that's fine. It's kind of, you know where it is. You're inside now. If you feel moved to move outside, you know, into the whole circle, just follow what you need to do right now. Go without thinking where you need to go. take a minute to feel how you're feeling inside. What are the feelings, the emotions? Take a deep breath, or a few deep breaths. We tend to hold our breaths when we start getting a little intense. Take a deep breath, ask for guidance, ask for help, ask for empowerment. We're going to spend 5 more minutes here just for time. You know, today is just kind of a taste of what this is like. I'm kind of moving through a long process pretty quickly. It's really wonderful when you can just take your time with this and be with it until you're complete in it. You know, I was just thinking this is actually perfect. If you guys are going to do Catherine's chakra talk next session, which starts at 11 o'clock, it would be perfect to take your collage that you've just done and use it in Catherine's workshop to have the chakras talk about it to yourself, you know? I was just thinking, oh, that's such a good thing that they're next to each other. So as we're kind of wrapping up, you might not be finished yet. That's okay. Just use what you can do. You can always come back to this and complete it at any time. So we're in the transformation process here, and ask your painting in your picture what will be your action step. You've acknowledged what it feels like when you're not taking care of yourself. You've acknowledged what it might feel like when you are, and what can be the action step when you have the awareness, I'm not taking care of myself. So you're making a promise to yourself at this point that the next time I feel this way and not taking care, I'm going to do this. So this is a commitment to yourself. You may want to write it in your regular journal, or if you want to write it on your painting, that's great too. So this is the action step in moving forward. Open it up just a little bit as people are finishing. I just want to kind of give credit where credit is due. I'm kind of combining two different classes I've taken at different times. One is called Smash Book with Kat Geller, Smash Book, and the other is Soul Art with Laura Hollick. So I'm kind of combining a couple different processes here. There's so many art journaling teachers, and there's a lot of YouTube videos that are available if you like this process of kind of more just kind of waiting for the inner voice to reveal itself, finding the layers and diving deep. I love this stuff. I find it really quieting and peaceful and enlightening. So I don't know if everybody's from different groups here, but if anybody wants to share, you know, sometimes it helps to talk about what you've created or how it felt. Feel free to kind of share what you've done. I can just show you my little creation there. Basically, what it all came down to is I'm going to ask for help next time. You know, I tend to feel, and the interesting thing was too is in looking at self-care, I realize when I'm not taking care of myself, I start feeling resentful. So that was a really good awareness for me to have today. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happens, and I probably never really put it together. So that was kind of a cool thing. So next time I'm going to ask for help and not feel so responsible. So that was my commitment to myself, and it doesn't look pretty, you know, and that's okay because there's so many layers of things that have happened through this hour, a little over an hour, that my body has processed, you know, and you can heal in different ways, not only emotionally, but in, you know, in physical ways too, with working with this stuff, because you can talk to pain, you know, you can talk to feeling stuck, feeling unmotivated, you know, you can have this conversation with so many different things. I love wintertime, and it's a time to dive into the quietness in the interior world. So giving myself the opportunity to do it and inviting other people along for the ride. All right, so to just wrap it up, when we put our hands on our thighs, we're just going to ground what we've done. We have been, as Helene says, in this collective energy, and I want you to pull your energy back to yourself. So consciously pulling yourself from the circle into your column of light. That's just your energy. Breathing in, hands on your thighs. You're grounded into the earth. You feel your soles of your feet. Sometimes what can help kind of separate a little bit is to see just golden rings of light coming down your body. Cleansing the session, coming back to yourself. Maybe it's a waterfall of light. It's whatever comes to you that encapsulates your energy system, grounded into the earth. Separated from the circle. And you'll feel the shift when it's happened. It's all of a sudden it's complete. Thank you for coming. I hope to see you this weekend. And